live, I believe. Let me pull up the chat. Okay. And then go to YouTube. Okay, today we are gaming. Like we do every week. But today, I'm going to be playing, starting, the Splatoon 3 story mode. Which is the most recent one. And it's the one that is probably the best, I would say. Although, there's a lot of stuff that it's kind of takes from Octo Expansion. There's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of the same as Octo Expansion, but it's still good, because it was good there, and it's still good here. But, the point still stands. In terms of innovation, it's not really in the individual levels. Okay, this is how it starts. Which, if you'll remember, if you were paying attention, which I was, this is how the trailer started for Splatoon 3 when they announced it like a year ago. Anyway. Yeah, we're gonna... You can go Inkling or Octoling now, which is interesting, but it does result in some weird things. Oh yeah, and then you can change your hairstyle. There's new hairstyles! Crazy. And you can change your eyebrows for the first time ever. And there's more leg wear. Like, there's just a lot more different stuff. What was I gonna go with? I like the... There's a lot more leg wear. I didn't even remember about this. Anyway, you can change all of this later, so it's not really that important. But you also get a friend. Now, the main problem with this friend is that... Well, first, you can give him some really bad haircuts. Like, this one's actually pretty cool. But, like, why would you make him look like this? I don't know, somebody probably likes it. A lot of these are pretty good, though. Let's really go with this one. Now, the biggest problem with this is that, canonically, the small fry aren't... They're all sentient. Anyway, we can't move on yet. We have to do the tutorial, just like in all games. Let's look around here. There's not really much going on. That's the Eiffel Tower. We're not in France, though. Don't worry. They revealed that we're not in France relatively shortly on. And then it's going to tell you how to do squid form and do the squid rolls, which are new and very cool and very helpful. And make the game feel a lot smoother in terms of combat. Oh, look, he found something in this big construction area? Question mark? Oh, it also gives you the banner, technically. Anyway, now we have the Splattershot Jr. and the bomb. So now we are gaming. In terms of, like, you can't really judge the tutorial modes, but I don't know if this tutorial mode is anything, it's not really anything special compared to the other one. Oh, but anyway, for Little Buddy, like, technically all the Salmonoids are, like, like, they're sentient. So it's really weird because they kind of just referred to your little buddy as, like, a pet the whole time, and he's like a sentient being, right? Like, that's in the lore, that he's just sentient. Of course, they choose blue and yellow here, because those are the primary colors of Splatoon 3. But that's different. I think the other ones... Did the other ones do their primary colors as well? I think so. Oh, yes. You can throw bombs in. Look. And this is also another new thing. Well, you can do the squid roll off the back of a wall, which is really helpful. You can also do squid surge, which throws you up pretty quickly. So we've gone through this whole... It's kind of a crater, actually. But it seems to be a different crater than the other one. Oh, it is a train. I couldn't remember if it was a train or a bus. Because there's a map that they eventually show, and there's two ways to get to the City of Chaos. And one of them is a train, and the other one's a bus. So I was like... The problem here is, like, I feel like this player character has the most interesting possible backstory. Because the other ones start in the city. So, like, it's a city. They could live there. This is the only player character, aside from Agent 8, that doesn't start in the city. Anyway, this is the new city. They changed the city. They go to a different one. Yeah. Version 3.10, whatever. And here are the new newscasters. There's 3 of them this time. And one of them is a manta ray. He's big man, and he's probably the best one. I do think I like him the best. The other 2 are fine. Shiver and Fry, whatever. There's some... Okay. This is not... Okay. This is because they released the DLC. And I technically have it because I bought it on my main account. So... I guess this makes sense, though, in context of you showing up at the city. Like, you can't show up until the train station's done, because you come in on a train. So... Unless you came in on a different train, I guess. Yeah. Big man speaking facts. This is the actual story mode stuff. So, like, the other stuff... Yep, so they're missing the big zapfish. Just call us if you find the zapfish. This is one of the few... I will say, though, for this one, they do care more about the zapfish. They're like, we will run out of power if we don't find this back. We should conserve our power. But also, they aren't really that worried about it, so it's still weird. But then again, these are newscasters, kind of. So, I don't know if they would be the ones in charge anyway. The idols have an interesting... They've got more backstory, I would say. Or more interesting backstory. That's the lobby. That's the train station, which we didn't come in on, I guess. But it lets you go to the lobby from the first game. Oh, and there's Captain Cuttlefish. He's back, but he's not wearing his uniform anymore. And that's it. They don't actually show you most of the other stuff. Partially because you can't access it at the beginning. But we once again are in a grate. There's a grate to go down, and we'll go in it. Here you can see that we are kind of... that section must take place pretty close outside the city then. This section is really awkward because it parodies the first game, but it's weird if you play as an Octowing. He's now senior advisor. He's no longer in charge. He's just the senior advisor. And he does this whole thing again. It's all the same. But it's the same thing as the first game where he's like, it's definitely them. And he right, like, using the term Octo Jerks is very weird because I'm playing as an Octoling. Like, it kind of feels, it's weird. But also, right, we played through the first 2 games. He's right, they did take it the last 2 times. So, but also this is a different city. Also, you don't get paid for this. But we do find out that the other agents might get paid. Or the captain gets paid at least. And we get a new suit, which is awfully, what's the word? And of course, right, he says Octo Clowns, which is once again awkward. But he's perfectly fine with the salmon, I guess. I guess your little buddy will just keep doing this forever. Anyway, so that whole sequence, right? Like, it both the problem with it is that it's too connected to the past ones. I think, like, they didn't really say anything interesting in it. The more interesting stuff is the fact that he's mean to you as an Octoling. I mean, not intentionally, but like unintentionally. Oh yes, and then this is so at this point they reveal. This was revealed in the trailers. At this point, they revealed that the Agent 3 from the first game and Octo Expansion has been promoted to Captain. So, your player character from the first game is now in charge. Oh yeah, in terms of timing, all the games take place, like, in time with us. So, we'll just keep the whatever. All the games take place based on, like, in sort of real time with us. So the original Splatoon came out in 2015, and then Splatoon 2 came out in 2017, so there's 2 years in between them. Splatoon 3 came out last year, 2022, and so thus there's a 5-year gap, presumably, in between Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3. So this kind of makes sense, the fact that they've promoted your player character from the first game. It also helps with, like, aging and stuff, because now your player character from the first game, the lowest estimate is usually given as, like, 13, I think, for the player character's age. So now they're at least 2 plus 5, at least 20 years old. So, you know, that makes things okay. Also, we get introduced to this stuff, which, yeah, I'll touch it. If you touch it, you turn into a poop ball and die. It's kind of funny. You also get, like, VeggieTales eyes. Oh, he was telling us not to touch it. So, we enter into this sort of world structure. Also, the Inklings and Octolings do know about hair, I guess. So, because he makes references and jokes about it. So, I don't know what that says. Anyway, the first thing and the best thing is that they've gotten rid of the sort of hidden invisible kettles in favor of ones that are just locked up that you have to break the seal on. Which is much appreciated because that's a lot better than what it was before. Also, so we will be able to go through this eventually. Any fuzzy ooze with the the little balls on it, we will be able to eat, like, get rid of. Now we start the first levels, which are always kind of semi-tutorial levels, as you can see. Oh, they've got TVs everywhere. Anyway. We kind of get bonuses here that we won't have for the rest of the game, by the way. So, for example, there's a targeting system that targets things for you, which isn't as helpful as you'd think. Also, you can use a special. You have a special that you charge up. It's Splashdown. Splashdown is only in the game in here. It's not in the multiplayer portion anymore. Which I think is kind of funny, because Splashdown was never that good in multiplayer, because you use it and then you die. Or you die while you're using it. Like, you don't get any, like, bonuses, really. Anyway, they're introducing us to all the different mechanics, having us break lots of stuff. Very fun, very cool. Very epic. This is all, like, you know, introduction to mechanics, basically. But another helpful thing is you can now kind of get up on top of areas which you hadn't inked all the way, which is pretty helpful, I gotta say. As a whole, though, this is just a tutorial section. So, like, they show the splat switches, which are pretty obvious. Mechanic, you shoot them. They give you lots of things to destroy. Oh, yes, and then they show you how the small fry bomb works. So he takes the place of your bomb slot. And he goes farther, and he takes up not that much ink. And he also, if he lands on something, he, like, attacks it until it breaks, which is pretty cool. So, like, that one, he just goes. And then if you throw him, he'll kind of, like, act as a distraction, I think. We haven't seen any enemies yet, so I'll show that off later. But you can have him or not have him. In order to get him back, you have to push the bomb button again. It's a pretty, like, it's a pretty interesting sort of bomb thing. And then armor. Oh, that's what the suit looks like with extra armor. I have to look at that. And then, so he kind of acts as like a bomb that always kills fully. He can die, he can get shot, he has like a little health. And, he has health, and like, if you throw him off the edge. If you throw him off the edge, he just kind of jumps back to you. But if an enemy kills him, he's kind of got like a cooldown time. Anyway, these are the Octarians now, which also makes this awkward because you are, once again, an Octoling. But I guess the indication of all this is that, anyway, see, so he looks at that guy, and then he's going to try to shoot him, but he can't because of how his gun works, but... Yeah, see, so Small Fry will die, and then he's got a cooldown, see? But he also kills guys, pretty easily, actually, so... Small Fry is a great addition to your team. Also, they still have Zapfish around. I don't know, they never really explained how much the Zapfish matter. But they do exist, and they do provide power, I guess. Yeah. The great Zapfish might be up ahead. And you also get a ton of points. You get a lot more points in these versions because of, well, the mechanic I'm about to show off here. So the Fuzzy Ooze, we gotta get rid of it. Oh, I kind of went through that. So, the salmon eat the power eggs, I guess, a lot. So this is how the mechanic works. Basically, you have to collect the salmon eggs and then use them to power up your small fry, and the small fry eats the eggs. Or eats the Fuzzy Ooze. It's a bit strange that salmon are eating kind of their own eggs, but so like here, right? It's 100. Right? Like, so they give you lots of salmon eggs. Oh, and here's the new another things. There's like, so your salmon buddy will also tell you about items that are kind of hiding in the ground, and you'll get decorations and they're called loot anchors, I guess. But they're the more hidden part, which I really like more than having the levels be hidden. Having the levels be hidden was kind of annoying. Having the decorations and secrets be hidden makes a lot more sense. Anyway, this is the second level. They actually kind of do... The tutorial in this one is a bit more longer. Yeah, it's pretty much just longer than the other ones. But it's also more involved. It feels kind of less like a tutorial, but it still feels something. They've got screens everywhere. Oh, to bloop into the ink? I don't... Okay. Anyway, you're supposed to run around here and shoot all of these to get them. Obviously, you want to get as many salmon eggs as possible because you need them to get rid of all that ooze. Dash tracks. Like, he's just showing us all the stuff that's in the other games, right? Because obviously they still want people who haven't played the other games to play this one. It gives us a little path to go on, pretty much. I don't think there are any hidden enemies, though. They do show up later, I think, but I don't think there are any in this game, in this level, because I think the hidden guys just kind of exist, like the extra stuff just kind of exists to be annoying. We will get other bombs, though, so we won't be just stuck with this one for the whole time. Can we? Okay, we can get back up here. If you throw your salmon at a bad guy, the bad guy will try to kill it while while the salmon is on him. So it does kind of create a weird situation where the only problem with this section of the level is that there's lots of bad guys down here that I want to kill because they drop eggs. Here. Oh, this is the end. Okay. I'm not gonna finish it yet. Because there's still more stuff to get. May surprise you to learn. Anyway, I think that's it. I don't think there are any more bad guys. Just need to get all of those. Nice. So as you can see, that level was more platform-based, but it's still mostly a tutorial. Yeah, Cuttlefish is... yeah, the Octarians are kind of like fuzzy now. That's kind of the deal. Yeah, a high-end sensor is what it's called. Also dry clean only, I guess. Which possibly explains why none of these suits have ever been washed. But it's also apparently marketed as post-apocalyptic gear, which I think is kind of funny. Anyway, now we have lots of eggs, so we can just eat all of this stuff. Anyway, if we look down the crater now, we can see that it's kind of like a construction site or something. There's a lot of stuff on the thing, but that at the bottom is a bunch of the ooze. So the ooze is kind of what we're I mean, obviously Cuttlefish is looking for the Octarians and the Great Zapfish, but really, they're looking for what is going on with this ooze is the bigger question that presents itself. Ah yes, Table Turf pack, which is a different game, which doesn't really have a single player mode, but I might play it. Oh yes, and the other thing is that Small Fry, sometimes the little loot things are hidden, so you have to shoot them to reveal them. I explained this already, but Small Fry can smell them or whatever, so he'll occasionally like find them basically for you. Anyway, we gotta be real careful here, and we see that we can't get it yet because we're missing 8 eggs. Oh crap. They kind of make, well, they don't make fun of you, but they're like, you can't just go into that ooze all the time. Oh, and the other thing is, now, there's a press and hold function for ZL instead of immediately going into the level whenever you play it. For better or for worse. Okay, so this shows off the keys as like a thing. The keys and boxes part. And also the ink rails. We haven't seen the ride rails yet, but the ink rails. I don't know if they show the ride rails here or later. Oh, yes! And they have double boxes now instead of some of the ways they did it before, which was like... So, obviously, we're just gonna go around. This is kind of like, oh, it shows off those guys, or whatever. These levels are really, not that difficult. He shows the grades. He shows this, I guess. Oh, he does tell you that you're supposed to throw him over here. They use ink rails a lot more in this one than the other ones, I think. Are we supposed to get up there? Oh, we're not? Wait. That one's weird. I think you're supposed to... Oh, right. I know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go over here, and then jump up, and then go. Ah, yes. Very clever. And we get one of the keys. And now we have 2, and now we can unlock it. I don't know why they made us do 2 keys. Maybe they just thought it was funny. Now, you can replay all of these levels if you need more eggs or something, but the game is pretty well balanced in terms of the barriers to continue. Oh, yeah. So here, at this point, he's like... look, it's Marie. Yeah, see, there we go. And apparently, he's wandered off. And they hang up on him. They're just like, oh, he ran away somewhere. Oh. Oh boy. Cuttlefish is both very competent and also slightly incompetent. He's like... He's never shown to be so incompetent that he actively causes bad things to happen. But he's also never really shown to be, like, competent enough to avoid things that are bad. Anyway, where were we? Break this one. Oh, there's 4. I thought there were only... And I think after this one, something weird happens after. I think this is the last one. But you only get like 1 or 2 secrets from this area. There will be other areas. They kind of hint at that. And I mean, if you were paying attention to the like the trailers and stuff, you would have been like, oh, okay, this is not going to be the only area. But there are areas other than the crater. Anyway, now it's even easier to approach these poor little guys. Oh, and he finally talks about it, our splashdown, which isn't really great, I'm gonna be honest. Like, as a special for story mode, there are ones that I'd rather have, but I can see why having a unlimited, because this is unlimited. You can get another one after you use one, because you just have to ink more stuff. And then eventually you get... It acts like the in-game specials. So if you ink enough ground, you get another one. So you can have infinite ones, basically. Which, I can see why they didn't add any other... Ooh, what do we look like now? Ooh, fancy. And it's really helpful. The little radar is really helpful because it goes through pretty much everything. And it is slightly canonical. Like, they've talked about this before, especially with the map, when people are asking about, like, how the map in multiplayer matches works. Inklings, and I guess Octolings too, have, like, kind of some senses that are, like, we can see where, we can feel where people are and stuff, if we're in our ink and stuff. So that's kind of what this is insinuating. This whole level is kind of just an enemy level. Like, you just go through a bunch of enemies. Here, we'll use... So that's kind of the, like, in-lore reason why. Oh yeah, see, that wasn't there before. Anyway, this one costs 1,000, which we have, because... And it gets rid of all of the rest, which shows that it's kind of a crater with a big thing at the bottom. Oh no! Something's coming. It's a big rocket robot. It's DJ Octavio! You know, the villain from all of the other ones, except for Octo Expansion. Oh, apparently his troops have gone missing, which, is very weird. Yeah, this whole thing is weird. They don't really explain. I guess there are Octolings who aren't part of, like, under DJ Octavio. It's still weird. He also only has one song. It's actually kind of funny at this point that he doesn't really... But I will say this one takes a lot from Splatoon 1 instead of Splatoon 2. But he basically... His thing is pretty much the same. He shoots his fists at you. You shoot them back. But he will show some cool things here. What's he doing? Oh, he just moved around. And the drill punch has to be dodged. Oh, but you can still shoot it back. He does another jewel. Yeah, and then he falls out, and then, like, it's pretty much the same as the other levels, except for kind of, I wouldn't say easier, because it doesn't seem any particularly easier. Okay, but now he's going to show his other things, so this is one of the new mechanics that they've implemented. It's a big vacuum. Oh, it sucks up your ink. You have to throw small fry in it, and then it'll stop working because it's stuck. But he basically prevents you from shooting ink. That's one of the new mechanics, I guess. It's one of the new specials is an ink vac in this game, and it's one of the new like things. So he kind of shows it off here. And it's actually, like, pretty good if you think about it. Like, that's a pretty good addition to his arsenal. He did some R&D and figured out that if he can prevent you from shooting ink, then you can't shoot his fizz back at him. However, you still can. He just... Got it. He comes back out again, and we shoot him up. So, like, this boss fight is the same, which is why they put it in really early on. If it's not clear at this point, this whole section is kind of like a mini tutorial world. Similar to how World 1 was in... Ah, yes. And then he shows off the other new thing. These little waves. The shock waves. The shock waves are another new mechanic. No, it didn't work. Darn. I was hoping. He moves around. He's got like a few places he can be. He's also, like, I think this boss fight is just easier because he's just slower the whole time. I got hit by it. Normally, in the actual game, they also mark you, so that if you get hit by those little waves, you also get marked, so, like, people know where you are, basically. Oh, I almost got it. It's really difficult to get the... There we go. He dies in 3 every time. Every time. See? And then he explodes. And this time he, like, really explodes. But he lands on the big thing. He's also, like, bigger than everyone else, which is a little weird. But not really. He's got a cool hat this time, which is... I like it. And Cuttlefish rags on him. But because he didn't steal the Zapfish this time. Who stole it? Oh no. The ground is rumbling. My controller's vibrating. Everything's getting eaten by a bunch of ooze. And we're all falling down. And Captain Cuttlefish got stolen. Because he always gets stolen. And also my shoes came off. I don't know about that last one. Oh boy, it's the idols from the, well, the newscasters. That's crazy, they're actually involved this time instead of... I don't know, I guess we don't know what they're doing. Anyway, now we enter the true story mode after 40 minutes of gameplay. Yeah. Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. There's a big rocket. And also a bunch of buildings. And a large amount of fuzzy ooze right there. They call it fuzzy ooze the whole time, so that's what I'm going to call it. Anyway, yep, okay, so we fell in. It looks like it's a big cave or something. And there's lots of rockets over there, too. And there's... yeah, there's Moai heads. And rocket ship parts everywhere. And big satellite dishes. Very cool, very cool. Hello, hey. Ah, and here we enter the rest of everybody. Yeah, and they're just like, yep, your thing. That's funny. They also continue on this thing where they're like, the look I'm looking for. Yay. The captain doesn't talk. They're the new Squid Beak Splatoon. And the captain gets a little thing to do when they do their little Squid Sisters thing. But seriously, please find him. Oh yeah, none of your player characters ever talked, so... Anyway, they tell you it's kind of what's up. There's a lot of Moai heads. Apparently this place is called Dolturna, which I don't know where they found that out, because that's in, like, data logs that you have to find throughout the game. But it's in this crater. There's 6 different islands, 6 different worlds. Sites. There's a really big rocket. It's really big. They put a tracking device, but they're getting conflicting signals. And you have a new map. Look. There's buried treasure around, kind of. There's no power eggs. And you don't have your full upgraded hero suit or whatever. You need the Sardinium from the other 2 games. And then the upgrade points. The upgrade points, you'll get a lot of them, so you don't really need to worry about them. The Sardinium is really the barrier to entry. Yeah. You get the upgrade points from playing the game. You also get them from finding items, so you do have to clear all of the items to get a fully upgraded thing, I think. I don't know. But, like, you just get it for playing. Anyway, our gun is now significantly worse. We have this different outfit, which is ironically more suited for a desert environment, I feel. Instead of this one, which is a pseudo-snow environment. I don't remember where they tell you this, but all this snow is fake. It's not real. I don't think it's actually really cold in here anyway, also. But they have like a little helipad or whatever, and there's like multiple rockets just kind of around, which is a big question that I have in regards to the lore, which maybe I will explain later. Also, unfortunately, you can't really get a good sense of like what these buildings are for. But if you want to, you can relive the memories of returning to the crater and playing those levels. So you can redo those levels if you want. But also, I guess what happened is you fell down and then, like, they were right behind you because they came down, didn't wake you up, but instead decided to just set up camp, which is kind of funny. And they've got, like, a little heater and walkie-talkies and whatever. Anyway, interesting little thing. So, Marie will give you, like, a variety of different dialogues. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of strange writing. It's kind of pseudo Latin script. Apparently this used to belong to the captain, but it's a different one than the Splatoon 3 one. Anyway, Marie will eventually hit the point where she does in Splatoon 2, where she just stops giving you dialogue and instead gives you, like, her inner thoughts, like, why are they still talking to me? Anyway, Callie is different. Callie will just loop. Kind of like Captain Cuttlefish in Splatoon 1. Callie will just loop around. Eventually. We'll see if we can get there. She will say occasionally, oh, but, like, did I already talk to you? Yeah, see, but then she'll loop around. Now, Captain 3, Marie talks for Captain 3. And it's a lot of funny dialogue that's like... Anyway, the captain's dialogue will also repeat, pretty much. I think. It's kind of a little more interesting. You'll get it, like, the captain kind of gives you tips. Marie gives you pretty much what she gave you in Splatoon 2, and Callie gives you sort of an in-between. She will tell you interesting stuff, but also occasionally give you funny gimmick things. Anyway, I don't have any things, so we can't get rid of any of these little balls everywhere. But we can look around and see that there's a lot of kettles here. And there's also Moai heads everywhere, which is very interesting and funny. And we'll find out why later. It's actually pretty amusing. But we have access to this one. Get to know Alterna, your only choice. And the level names are very good, I've got to say. Like, the level name... Okay, anyway, we also have the map in the loading screen, and we can see the 3 different areas that are in. As you can see, the story mode takes heavy inspiration from Octo Expansion. Oh boy. Alterna Citizens. I guess that's how they found out it was called Alterna. This is the combination, well, yeah. It's an AI of some sort. They, Agent 3. Yeah, so it's kind of like a testing, like, thing. The aesthetic here is very interesting in terms of, like, because Octo Expansion doesn't have a clear, like, what are you doing these tests for? It's kind of like, oh, well, we want to get out of here. So it's kind of like a Portal aesthetic where it's like, you're doing these tests because you're stuck. You're trapped. This one is a lot different because of that difference. Because these tests are all, like, clearly optional ones that the AI just gives to people who show up. But the result, in terms of game mechanics, is the same because you do the tests and, like, you get the things. Anyway, you get power eggs for getting it. So it's basically like... Also, they give you more information, increased access. Ah, yes, and every once in a while, Orca will give you a little kind of like, I'm not just an AI message. For example, in here, and please consider this a threat. Which is kind of strange, because there's really no payoff for that. Anyway, one of the changes, though, is that, the big change, is that the levels will occasionally let you use your hero gear, which means that you just get whatever you already have. So, depending on the level and how much you've upgraded your hero gear, that usually means your hero gear is sometimes the best option. Anyway, it's kind of the same thing as... I mean, the difference is, like, obviously they've got a different sort of setup here. It's much more open than Octo Expansion. Like, the aesthetic of the testing chamber is a lot more, like, Fallout-esque, I would say. Anyway, one of the main differences is that some of the levels have no fee, so you could just play them over and over again to get a lot of power eggs. Which is really good, because in Octo Expansion, it was possible for you to run out, and it kind of got awkward. Anyway, they also kind of have a similar sort of, like, where we've got wacky stuff in the background. But also, in general, the fees are a lot significantly less than the power eggs you get, because they want you to use the power eggs to get the to get rid of the ooze. This is also a semi-tutorial level, kind of, but it's more an open tutorial. It's like the Octo Expansion kind of tutorial, where it's pretty open. Yeah. As you can see, we need to get like three keys to get up to the point that we need to get to. So I feel like so you just kind of go around and then... Oh, this is one of the new things. It's a little roller thing. They spit out from here. Yeah, see, and like they're kind of they kind of act like the roll whatever's over there, but they're more specific. They added a lot of different like stuff in this game, but a lot of it is similarly, like, the mechanics are similar to other mechanics that already exist in the game, so it's a little strange. Anyway, we're gonna get the Trizuga. It's back, the Ingzuka from the first game, and now it's better, worse. I don't know. It's more balanced, I guess. Anyway, we need... It only fires 3 shots every time, and it is much harder to use, basically. And they show off the bounce pads, and they show off the salmon things. Oh, we're supposed to... Oh, crap. Now we have to go all the way back up to get those little bits of eggs. See, before, it was kind of silly that I went and got all the eggs. But now, it's part of the thing. Now I have to get all of them. The Trizuka is a lot harder to use in this game than in the single player of Splatoon 1. Oh, and they also show off the squeegees in a way that is not harmful to you in any way in this point. So, and they show off this. Like, this whole level is basically you've learned how to play the basic game. We're just gonna show you all of the different stuff that we've already figured out and can do. Like the squeegees. Boop, boop. And of course here we have the big pillars of ink. And these... Oh, there's blue. Okay. Did we get it? Did we get it? Got it. Okay. The fans. So yeah, this is just the show off all of the game mechanics level. Which is good. I'm glad they always, like, I'd rather people, like, it's a fine way to get the game mechanics, because it also opens it up in a way that is a lot better. Anyway, right, it's the same kind of thing. So, it's pretty similar to Octo Expansion. Anyway, you can see the map of the area is basically we're going to go around the big building, with the rocket in it. We're going to go, well, it's not going to show us the big map, but we're going to go around the rocket and end up kind of like over there, at that area over there with the big tower. That's the final level. Anyway, let's go to the menu. First, we have this map, which we will want to clear out all of these little areas that say we haven't been there yet. The hero gear, which we won't be able to get until we get the first Sardinium, which is later on. Site 1, obviously, there's 6 sites. We only have 1 level. Here's the archive. There are sunken scrolls in this game, but they're no longer in the levels. They're in the lobby area. So the area where I'm right now has the sunken scrolls in them somewhere. I have to find them, because they're sunken scrolls. This is what replaces the sunken scrolls. The Alterna logs. You get 1 log for each site, and as you can see, I can't really, all of this is like corrupted or whatever. I have to beat all of the levels in this site to get this fully completed. So as we go through, it'll open up more of the logs, of this log. So you have to finish every level to get all of the logs. Oh yes, and Kelly kind of follows you around and gives you hints. Anyway, we're going to get rid of this first, because that opens up more levels. Anyway, you can see here's one of the little things. It's a sunken scroll! That's crazy. It's number 3rd. So this is the advertising for... oh, it's called Anarchy Avenue, the area you're in, I guess. Splatsville. And we're missing some of them already, but we've got most of them. Ah, yes. And unlike the other ones, you actually have access to the whole little thing, and the animation in the corner is no longer in the right. It's now in the left. So if we go all the way back here, you can see that it starts with a squid on a... It starts with a squid on a swing. Then we go... Well, that was actually pretty quick, but here, we'll go back. Did you get it? You can't really see it anymore. A squid, and it's going, and he picks up a fish, and then the fish, he picks up another fish, and then he swings away, and now there's an Octarian on it, and they're sleeping or whatever, and then they go away, and now it's a small fry. And he falls off. And that's it. Okay. Very cool. Very funny. Now, there is kind of a difference between the silver and gold kettles. The gold ones are cheaper, I believe. I think that's how it works. Or the gold ones are free. There's some sort of, like... The ones that are gold are more likely to be free or something. Anyway, for all of the areas, there's a big... Oh, so we can see there's a little red thing on the ground, so we have to shoot it. And it'll pop up. And now we have the eggs. Another thing which they grabbed is these balloons. So the balloons that go into other balloons. Now, I can't get all of these right now because I can't get through here, but... Yeah, no, I'm not going to get through there. But at some point, I will get access... Ooh, there's a thing up here. Ah, this is the other thing. A golden record. This is also new. A new thing to collect. All of the areas have a theme. They all have a different theme, actually. Each of the sites. The theme starts off super distorted and hard to hear. It becomes easier to hear the more golden records you collect. So right now we have 1 golden record collected, so it's a little bit easier to hear. But before, right, like there was like no sound, no music, pretty much. Here's another sunken scroll. Ah. Long ago, our splatted land was almost washed away by a great flood. All was presumed lost. Till 3 lights appeared and united to consume the disaster. Which, I don't know how that works at all. And they threw a festival of 3 portable shrines as tribute, a.k.a. 3 floats. 3 parade floats. They got 3 parade floats. Now, a lot of the fuzzy ooze around is kind of easy to get rid of. Like, it doesn't cost a ton. So, you kind of have to make the decision, like, what are you going to spend your hard-earned salmon eggs on? Get rid of this one. And they're, like, the game doesn't exactly expect you to do everything, but it is prepared for you to do everything in the game. So there is definitely pretty much there's pretty much rewards for doing everything in the game, with the exception of beating every level with every gun. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff you can do just in these world areas, which I really is really good. But here, we'll do the silver one next. I don't remember which one is technically the next one. This isn't number 3, but unlike the other ones, it's a little bit more. You don't really have to do them in order. Now, this is technically the second one. So, we get the same amount for clearing it with a whatever, so I'm going to do the hero gear. Because, why not? Anyway, the goal of this one is just to get to the end. There's a good amount of levels that are like that. And they brought... These guys do different things now. In Splatoon 2, they just blow up when you shoot them. Now, they fly back and blow up farther back, so you can kind of chain them. Oh, there's a key. Ah, yeah, see. So now, you can kind of use them to explode things. Like here, where you can use them to explode all these boxes. But they're also really easier to kill, actually, because now they die in one shot, pretty much. Except for these guys. These guys are new. They're really big ones. And they're really annoying, because they take a lot of damage before they die. Anyway. We can continue on. Okay. Now we're up here. This final checkpoint. Some of these levels are really quick, and some of them are relatively... I don't know if there's any that are super long. This one's pretty quick. Because the Octo... Ooh, ouch. Anyway, you pretty much just shoot at them. Like, you don't... There's not a lot of strategy for dealing with those guys. You kind of have to fall back as you... I mean, I could have used my special, too. The only thing is now the levels only have one name, which I think was a thing from Octo Expansion that they moved on with. Although I'd have to double check. They might still have 2 names somewhere. No, never mind. They only have 1 name now. For better or for worse. Anyway, so every time you complete a level, the alternate log opens up a little more. So like, for example, the first one just opened it up and said the title, which was The Fall of Humanity, which is, by the way, the theme of this whole thing. Alterna was built, in case you didn't know, Alterna was built by humans, and we're going to find out what the deal is with that. So this talks about as technology advances exponentially, so did prosperity and ultimately conflict. For long, the entire world was embroiled. It's kind of a... It doesn't really talk a lot about why the world became apocalyptic and everyone died, but it's kind of like oh, it just happened. Anyway, this level is kind of funny. So this one's an E-liter. You get 5 lives, and here we show... Oh, and there's little error messages. You're supposed to use a single shot. All you have to do is hit the thing in the middle, so you just wait until it shows up. But, yeah. So that one's, like, really kind of easy. But there are a lot of levels that have those sort of conditions on them. In general, I will say the levels are overall easier than Octo Expansion. In general, there are some specific ones which I say are probably as difficult or harder. But then, in the end, nearly all life on Earth was wiped out. Oh no, they killed everyone. So sad. Where was I gonna go next? Anyway, so like when you play the game, you kind of have to make a decision on whether you're going to spend your eggs on these little small ones or if you're going to go for the big one immediately. Like if you want... Oh, see, there's a Sardinium. So there's the first Sardinium. So you can go to the upgrade menu and unlock the first row. And as you can see, these cost 1 and 2. So they cost 2 respectively. So you just get them as soon as you get them. Because why would you not, right? Like, you have... But the tree is kind of interesting. It's like a spiderweb tree, kind of. But you need 3 Sardinium to unlock the next row. So you're going to be waiting a while. And then you need 3 to unlock any one of these ones. And then 4 to unlock this one, 5 to unlock that one, and 5 to unlock that one. But the good thing is some of them, like once you get this one, you get this one for free pretty much because... But like... Right, this next one costs 3 plus 2 plus 3, so 8. So if I get 3 more levels, which I'm probably going to get by the time we get to the end, we're going to be good. So you can see this one costs a lot. 1,500. We're going to eat it because it's the big one. But that allows us to go to the next area, which I will go into, but I'm not going to play any of yet. Oh, wait. I didn't remember this happening this early. No, I think it did, though. Anyway, these are the deep cut guys from the news. You're not supposed to be anything. Okay, yeah, cool. Whatever. Cool. Make money. Get fish quick. Big man's the best. Cool. And Callie loves them. From the news. Apparently their real passion is banditing. Banditing? Being bandits. They've apparently hit the jackpot, even though I don't know what they're trying to steal. Apparently it's treasure. Apparently they're taking all of the treasure. And they're laughing in the background. Big man got a little bit scared. If it's not entirely clear, Deep Cut doesn't really know what they've gotten themselves into here. They kind of have a vague idea, but, also they're kind of evil. Kind of, but not really. We'll get to that later. Anyway, whenever you go from one area to the next, assuming you don't jump, you get to see, what happens in between, which is nothing. It's mostly all water. So, the strong reading, it could be Captain Cuttlefish, no longer Captain Cuttlefish, Senior Advisor Cuttlefish. Anyway, so now we have the two, so this one's called Cozy and Safe Factory. Oh, we can go to all the different areas. So this one's called Future Utopia Island, and this one's called Cozy and Safe Factory. They all kind of have, like, weird, like, this place is great, but it's this place names. They're kind of in the same vein as the Splatoon 2 area names, except for instead of being like an Octarian reference plus place name, it's like a utopian adjective plus place name. So we'll see that as we go around. But anyway, as you can see, this is kind of a factory or something. It's got a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of boxes, which I think are 3D printers. Yes, they are. They have 3D printers, by the way. That's kind of one of the things the humans did. You get a lot about humans in this story mode, which I really like. But as you can see, there isn't a lot to look around at, so you mostly just jump to the different levels that you want to go to. Anyway, let's unlock this one, and then I think I might call it for today. There's a lot of stuff to do in Splatoon 3 story mode, and even if you go for the level, unlike Octo Expansion, you don't get to finish it really early unless you, even if you go, like, right away to the end, you probably aren't going to finish it early. So, there's that. And obviously, if you skip levels, then you won't get the whole Alternalogs, and that... Oh, he found something. But it's up there, so... Here, hold on. Oh, we can't get up there, because this isn't the way. Let's see if we can... we have to go all the way around. Anyway, so that's kind of how the world system works. Like, oh, it's up there. If you hit it correctly, he'll start shooting at it. Sardinium. Yay, we still need 2 more to do anything. Because of the hero gear, they kind of sacrificed upgrading, like, you don't really touch it a lot, and, like, you usually... Oh, no, I can get the next one. Never mind. So now we get 2 of these, which we want ink capacity up. And then we probably want the rate of fire. These ones are really the block, because you need 3 to unlock them. And, getting 3 is a tough ask. Because you only get, like, 1 or 2 per world, so you kind of get stuck in this, like, where I have 2, but I still have to finish the rest of this world, and then as soon as you get the 3rd one in the first world, you unlock everything, and then you're like, okay, time to get more, eventually. Anyway, do I do 1 more level? I'll do 1 more level, assuming I can... Okay, yeah. This level, it's called Relic Restoration. Ooh. Alterna has a very weird vibe to it. It's very interesting. I kind of like it. It's like a cross between, the vaults in Fallout and, Yeah, we just have to ink the whole statue. So this is kind of like oh, we're out of ink. I don't think they're that worried about you getting exactly all of it. Although they might be, and I might have to go back and fix some of those issues. But they're more worried about, like, the general gist of inking it, so... Halfway there. So this is kind of like an alternate version of the, like, make a thing out of blocks. I kind of like this level, but it's not very interactive. Like, there's... This level, I think, could be made really interesting if they added enemies, maybe? If they added sort of more challenges to it. Or, like, a time limit, I feel, would be the easy option, but boring. If they added enemies and, like... Okay, we're gonna... Maybe I'll get some... Maybe I'm missing some of the stuff on the bottom. I must be. This must count. So annoyed. This type of level is very interesting, but could be... Yeah, okay, so we got enough of it. We're still missing sections, but whatever. Anyway, looks pretty good. And it rotates so that we can see that we've inked all of it. It's also a big Moai head, which, so the reasons for that are kind of weird. I think I'll wait to explain them because they're explained in the logs, so I'm not gonna spoil it for you. But I think that is the last level. That was kind of non-level, though. Maybe we'll... There's also a way to skip section Site 4 if you want. In Site 3, you can go right to Site 5. Anyway, the logs. As humans squabbled, natural disasters intensified, volcanic eruptions leveled cities, the sea rose and began to consume the planet. Humanity experienced a mass extinction event, which is kind of, not, what's the word? Oh yeah, and sometimes you get stuff for, well, they're usually decorations. I need 8. It's kind of not very clear, but anyway, now we can upgrade the ink resistance. And I think that'll be the last time we ever have less like, we run out of these points and still have slots to fill up. I think for the rest of the game, it's pretty much just, yep, you have more slots than you have sections. So, ooh, can we get up here yet? No, we can't. Okay, there's a lot of stuff to do in the worlds. I really like how the worlds mechanic has been implemented now. Ooh, there's a balloon somewhere. There's a balloon. So in each level, there's an extra balloon just kind of flying around. And, ooh, there's a level up here. And there's a thing here, too. Decorations. Decorations go in your locker. Yeah, so it's like flying. It's usually flying really high, and it's usually hard to get. So. Anyway, can I? We're gonna try this balloon again. See if I've. I have not, because I have to get rid of that one. Oop, small fry's going for something. It's over here. Yeah, see, so he just finds stuff. And it's usually like eggs. Or something good, so. But that's gonna do it for here. That's the end of the stream. I started it. It's been started. It'll take a while to get through all of it because there's a lot of levels in this story mode, but it's really good. Partially because the outside area is a lot, like, pretty interesting. Because the levels are just like Octo Expansion levels, pretty much. But the world areas, ooh, now there's where the interesting stuff is. So we will see how I will finish this. So, but more stuff will be revealed next time because of how the archive works. So